is Gina Casserole here from the Bowling Ball Diet Podcast. I got a very special guest. I got my Aunt Ro Tini here. Hey, Aunt Ro, how are you doing?
I'm very well, and I'm so happy I'm here to be with you.
Thank you so much for coming on. Now, you are a woman that just, I don't think you realize how much you've guided me in the past. And, you're kind of like, you're kind of like a guru to me. You're always keeping me resilient and always like reminding me of how to upkeep and take care of myself. Like you've been there for a lot of key moments. If my mom wasn't around, I'd go to Aunt Ro. So I'm so happy to have you here.
Let me just tell the guests that if her mom wasn't around, if I wasn't around, Gina would have a mustache. That's
true. You taught me how to shave, and twice. Once to shave my legs and pits, and then the other one for my pubics. Like you told me, hey Gina, we were at Lake Michigan. You go, what's crawling out of your pants? And I was like, what do you mean? And you're like, you gotta trim the hairs. And then you didn't show me how to do it, but you definitely guided me how to take care of myself. And I got a boyfriend a couple days later.
Well, I'm so happy about that. At least someone in the family has a successful relationship. I just remember when we went on a trip to
I ain't that a success in the relationship department. We know about the ex and up north, but you and Uncle Tony, they were if you guys want to meet a love story, they definitely had one that was in the books, for may you rest in peace. But Aunt Ro, you're a phenomenal lady, and a lot of people don't even know you got this trademark, Puppy Chow. It's the best snack in town. And like, man, you are just such a wonderful person. And I just want to know more about how you got to be you. So can you tell me what your philosophy is when you get hard times? Like how do you bounce back?
Oh boy. Well, one thing I do is I submerge myself in the hottest bath possible. I definitely like to put myself in hot water, whether I'm literally or figuratively in hot water or not. Hot water seems to do it. Maybe because my mother was hot-blooded and it feels very like a child. I feel like a fetus. It's, I definitely bath taking. I like putting Vicks up my nose. I know people do, the organic stuff, but I'm still old school with the Vapo Rub. I like that up there.
You know what I hear, Aunt Ro? You got sinuses. You put the Vicks on your feet, and it goes because the reflexology goes all through your system. I learned that at a yoga class out here.
Well, I've never done my feet, but I'm glad you didn't say anus because that was going to concern me. That would have stung, and I'm not ready for that kind of wake
No, but people have been putting coffee up their bums. You know that? They do colonoscopies that way, and like it's like an enema. They put it up their butt, and it's like, whoa, dude, that is too much caffeine in your system because it hits your blood like right away.
Wow. Do they use the good stuff or instant coffee when they do that?
I think they kind of use the $50 per pound type of ones. The one that comes in ferments in the elephants, those kind of fancy stuff. I mean, if you're going to go ahead and get an enema for coffee enema, you might as well go ahead and get like Primo,
Well,
like
if you say it that way, if you're going to get an enema, you might as well have it squirted out of the trunk of the elephant. Maybe that's better. You just arrange yourself right in front. Maybe they do it in Thailand where you bend over the elephant. You give the elephant a lot of water. Oh, well.
Yeah, they pay the workers a lot. There's people who are paid to sift through the elephant poo to get the beans, and then they ship it to like Canadians and Americans.
Well, I hope that's not what's in these dark espresso beans. I hope that these didn't come out of the, Dumbo's ass.
Probably not.
Okay, they taste
That's
delicious.
not $50, is it?
No. It came from Marshall's at $3.99.
Oh, okay.
I've had these for I wish if they had a date on. They were compared at $6. I got them. Oh. Best by April 15th, tax date 2018.
Wow, that was a good year. That was a good year.
Delicious. No, how do I keep it? How do I stay so beautiful, you ask me?
Well, I said how you get resilient, but you are a beauty, Aunt Ro. Is your regimen? Because you got a lot of hygiene tips for me. I'd love to hear how you keep up with yourself.
Well, one thing I do is if I try not to compare myself to the neighbors. That I try to stay healthy that way.
I'm glad to hear you're getting outside, talking to them.
Well, I look out my window. I mean, I do comparing. I see them jogging by, and I'm like, I should have done my life differently, but I didn't. No, I stay beautiful and resilient. Resilience, I gotta keep away from the shit that I see online. If I want to stay resilient, what do you think? This thing gives people power. What I do is I practice strength to say no. I'm not gonna fall into it. I'm not gonna fall. You didn't see me post one thing over the election. I didn't post any. I don't tell anybody anything about.
It's nobody's business who you vote for.
I know. I know. And in terms of, hey, I have gone with the flow. I mean, obviously, I became like the Puppy Chow queen, whatnot, and king. You know, we're not going to be.
I mean, I think you're pretty industrious because you're like concession stands at the local baseball fields. They didn't get the Puppy Chow. And you're like, hey, we got oranges for soccer. Why are we using Puppy Chow? For those of you who ain't from the Midwest, okay, here's the thing about the Puppy Chow. It is this perfect powdery, sugary, breakfasty cereal mix. It's kind of like Chex Mix, but better. But Aunt Ro makes the best in town. I mean, like, you came ahead and you said, hey, we don't need Girl Scout cookies. We need Puppy Chow. It's just amazing how you can sell anybody anything.
Well, and I give a personal touch. You know, I make every little tag on it wonderful. My powdered sugar, I sift it with love. And if nobody buys it, I take the chocolate out and I give it to the dogs. I try to, it's a double thing, but I definitely, it's how I package it. It's the same thing. It is Chex Mix. Let's be honest. It's Chex Mix. It's chocolate chips. I gotta melt them down. I cover it up. I shake it with powdered sugar, but I put the love in there. I shake it up. I shake it up in my containers, and I put the love in there. I package it. That's what it does. That gave me resilience to follow through. Because everybody else in the family, they got so caught up in the goddamn bowling ball industry. I'm like, I
know Pops is like, he's always there. And I was like, Aunt Ro's the only one who knows how to see other things, They always like, no, I gotta go on the back alley. I gotta go wax the pins.
But I don't want to knock your father or anything, but he could have been a little bit gentler. He could have sold the Puppy Chow at the bowling alley, but he had an issue. He didn't want me to he didn't want it to, ruin the name. And he didn't want people to have their powdery fingers in the holes. I get it, but it's a little bit obnoxious that he keep me down like that.
Yeah, well, I was talking to Eddie Spaghettis a couple days ago, and we were talking about, he never listened to us when we were like, hey, you can make White Russians in the bowling alley. We can have cold cereal here. Like, Pops is just like, no, we're going to only do what we've always done. And it's like, this is what's going to happen. I'm like, we're not getting as much people in, It's like, you are like, hey, yeah, all right, I got something that other people got. But what do they put into it? Not love. I put in the love into everything I do. And you make people better. I mean, sometimes you're pretty brash, but you get your point across. So
let me tell you something. You have to be brash when your husband dies and you're not exactly sure how the money came in, and now it's your time to do it. And tell your father, because we haven't talked for a long time. I know you know that, and I do still love him. It's nothing personal. But please tell your father that it was nothing personal when I stood in front of the alley on the weekends for those couple of months peddling my Puppy Chow, and the fact that he sent the police on me and embarrassed me in front of everybody, and half of the people who had been drinking in the bowling alley making a scene in front of me, defending him, that I didn't feel comfortable. That didn't feel now I hope
It's a little triggering, but also a little bit of jalapeno spice went up my arm. But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, you've been through a lot of things, and you know. But the thing is, you don't let that hold you back. You know, you don't let that hold you back. But like, I just wanted to know, like, okay, what is your new philosophy you got going on? Because like the pandemic made everybody a little wily and whatnot. Like, do you have a new outlook on things? Or you're like, I got the same type of attitude, you know? Stuff happens.
Well, that's always going to be the attitude. Stuff happens. Maybe my new.
I'm sorry. I just, you know,
Yeah.
you just say it so, like, duh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to knock you or anything, but come on, you know, it's like you're not, you know, you don't have any more facial hair, or I'm sure you, but let's get the brain going, you know. It's like, what are you asking me about? All my philosophies, what am I, Sartre? You know, you're thinking like, who am I? I'm Descartes, Descartes, I don't know. Well, what's my philosophy? My one day at a time. Let's make it through. You know, hopefully nothing will strike me down. I'm doing the best I can, and so is everybody else. Your father, your mother, you know, spaghetti, whatever you brought up. You know, all the people, everybody. You know, every customer, patron, they're all trying to do the best job they can and trying to be open about it. Now, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to judge them occasionally, but like I said, I put myself in the hot bath. I try to look out the window and not, you know, critique. If you're jogging and you don't, you know, you look 20 bowling balls too big, you know, for yourself, I'm not going to.
Oh, I'm so flattered you remember my game plan, my business. But like, you know, like, here's the thing. I noticed there was people a couple weeks ago who were like, 1 year ago, this is what happened to me. And it's like, I believe it was an international pandemic. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to talk about the last movie you saw was 1 year ago? Where's your caboose, you know?
Probably growing.
I mean, like, what are they thinking? Like, I mean, where's your brains? I mean, how can you go ahead and think the pandemic is only happening to you? Like, everyone else is just there for your simulation? Like, I mean, come on. You know? And Ro, you there?
Yeah, I'm just thinking about simulation.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know anything about simulation. I'm missing.
You watched The Matrix, though. I thought you did.
No, you know what? You want me to tell you about my experience with The Matrix? I went to the movie by myself. Tony was very sick. I went to the movie The Matrix by myself. There were all these young people. Everybody was sitting together. I had to like go into a theater. It was totally crowded. I was by myself. I remember nothing about the movie. I just remember that I felt uncomfortable. I felt alone, and I didn't know how I was going to survive. So I don't know anything about The Matrix. All I know is that the director and the writer, they're now both women, and I know nothing else about it except like some type of karate chop move and freezing. I don't know anything about it. And Keanu Reeves wore black. I don't know anything about it. I could care less about The Matrix.
Well, Aunt Ro, that explains a lot why you don't know about philosophies. Because a lot of philosophical ideas were distributed to the public all about from The Matrix. But yeah, you know, it's amazing how much people can change, not just through their genders, but through their perspectives. So I think that, you know, as a widower, as you are, do you have any hope for your dating life to be improving anytime soon? Or are you getting it, Aunt Ro? Because like, you got all these tips and I don't want them to go to waste. You know, just because you're not young doesn't mean that you still don't got life to you.
I know, well, not everybody shares their secrets. I've got some people that are interested in me. I don't know you know, maybe it's, you know, I thought the post office was, you know, not the post office. Yes, I'm in love with the post office. I have a relationship with the post office. I'm going to come out.
There's a mailman for you? Is that what you're trying to say?
That's what I was
Because you don't do the internets, which
no,
thank you for doing this.
No, because they're too triggering. I can't, I don't want to like anyone on the internet and then come across some information about them. I like to be surprised. I personally feel like, no, I think there's hope. You know, I got a lot of shit to get rid of Tony's. You know, I still have a lot of Tony shit around.
Yeah, it's like a shrine.
Yeah, no, I got to kill that shrine at some point. You know, he was great and we had a nice time.
But part of you, you know? Like, it's hard to get rid of people who matter to you.
Yeah, well, he can't be in the bed with me though. If I'm going to be with someone else. I'm a one-person, so Tony's got to go if I get involved. But no, I mean, really, yeah, there's a handsome postal worker, but I probably would have a more successful relationship with the post office. We probably, you know, just go to the
lick the stamps and you can lick each other.
Open up that mail slot, shut it. I like that.
You got a little note in the pockets, open it up. Like
a little glass partition, you know, to keep the mystery strong. Like you can't quite touch, but you know, I don't know. You know, there's what I like too about the post office is it's structured. You know, now when you're people my age, some of the men especially have retired and they have a lot of time on their hands. So I kind of like that the post office has actual hours, you know, like it's not open all the time. You know, it's got a structure to it. Because I need structure. But you know,
they open now on the weekends.
For a limited time.
Limited time, but they got some times for you. You know, they used to be Monday through Friday, partial Saturday. Now they come, they drop stuff off because of UPS, Amazon, FedEx, you know.
That's another thing too. I mean, I think I picked the post office because why get caught up in all the modern stuff? I do. You know, if I could equate it to a quality of a person that I find, I do like old school values. You know, I don't mind being aware of the newer stuff, like if we're going to continue with the post office metaphor, like the outfits. You can
say whatever you want because, like, you know, the tech culture is overwhelming for a lot of people. And I'm glad that you're representing, you know, their voice because they're not going to be vocal in those channels because they don't utilize those tools.
No, and think about that. You know what? That almost whatever we said, I almost want to get off when I stop talking to you about how much of a great influence I've been and what my amazing philosophies are. I am going to run a very hot bath, and I think I'm going to write a love letter to myself.
That sounds great. Have you written love letters to yourself before?
Well, maybe one time I tried it, you know, when I was actually before I started seeing Tony. I think I did something, you know, I did something like that. And I did that then, but no, not in a long time.
I mean, if you don't love yourself, how can other people love you, you know? Rugamaru, you okay? He's choking now.
Oh, well, we don't want him to choke. Keep him alive.
It's water. I don't know what his deal is.
I don't want to go through any death again. I don't like death. I don't want it to happen to anybody. I wish we could live forever. I wish lots of things, you know?
And Ro, it's like always a delight to talk to you, you know? Like, I mean, you just know how to put words together and string them along. Like, it's like you're kind of like Betsy Ross in a way, because, you know, like, she threads it together all the time, and it's just beautiful, masterful piece of work that is memorable.
Well, maybe, who knows, you know, I have told you before, I wanted us to go see the past live woman that I like, that woman that, you know, tells all the past lives. I think maybe I might have been like a Betsy. I could have been Betsy Ross. I might have been. You know, I've gotten into quilting. You only know me with my Puppy Chow and how great I've been doing. But I
think
really.
you've been a lot of Rosses because, like, I think that, you know, Ro, you kind of like also kind of moves and singing voice like Diana Ross, you know? And like, I just think you might be just all sorts of Rosses flowing in your system, you know? Aunt Ro.
Well, you know, this did come from Dress for Less. So, yeah, I might be more Rosses than you know. And I love that gay Ross that's on RuPaul that used to work for Jay Leno. I love that. His name's Ross. He's a funny guy. He's a funny gay guy. Do you know who I'm talking about? That gay.
I do remember he had a guy that his name was Ross, and he happened to be not super masculine, but he was definitely entertaining.
Well, I hope it's okay to say what I said, that he's a gay man, but I watched.
I mean, I don't think it's something that he is going to deny of who he is. You know, like you're Aunt Ro. Would that be inaccurate to say you're Aunt Ro? I don't think so. No. But like, you know, Aunt Ro, I'm so glad that you got Tony Jr. to set this up for you, because like, I mean, I'm so glad you are willing to be open to seeing me like this, because I would like to visit you. I hope one day you'll be able to come visit me. And once you get over airplane industry issues, because I know you're geeked out.
Can't stand it. I'm never going to get on a plane again. No, I'm never going to get on a plane. Never.
Man,
if anything,
getting me today. These jalapeno chips are getting me today. I just am choked up. But I just want to tell you, I think you're a wonderful person. And I think that, you know, you got a good fighting spirit about you. And, you know, you've dealt with some hardships, but you also go, you know what? This is what happens sometimes, but it ain't going to define me as an entirety. And the fact is that you keep on finding ways to make your love grow and handing it out one puppy chow handoff at a time is just amazing. And I just really look up to you, Aunt Ro, because there's not many strong-willed women like you that I know. So thank you.
Well, Gina, it means so much to hear that from you, because I never had a daughter. You're the only, you know, you're like a daughter to me. And, you know, I was gonna mention that mustache that you used to have, because I was gonna talk about the time we went to Acapulco and you put on a sombrero and you look like you fit right in, and we're like, I gotta take care of that thing on your face.
Yeah, that was not as fun for me. I was going through a hard time, and I was taking some what I thought from my ex. He told me it was gonna help me lose a little lbs, but it was actually steroids. It was a whole thing I had to overcome. But yeah, the mustache days are done, thank goodness.
Yeah. Well, and the bulky muscles, I remember those too. I thought you were, yeah, I remember.
Well, I mean, I was trying to figure some things out, and it was not being figured out with the right ways. But now, luckily, I developed a program that can help people maintain their weight and find ways to eat healthier and not be relying on supplements that may or not be real legit or legal supplements. So, you know, I feel like I'm getting a lot better at that stuff. I'm still learning how to get a little bit more fashionable out here in Los Angeles, but like during pandemic times, it's like, I'm going to be me and you got to like me as me, you know? But I appreciate you so much. Do you have any last bits of advice, not just for me, but just for potentially anybody who might be listening? Because I got at least 6 YouTube followers now.
Well, then this is for the 6 of them, and maybe the 6 more that you might get. Be yourself, stay true to yourself, follow your dreams. If you think in bowling balls, think in bowling balls. If you think in pretzels, think in pretzels. Think the way you think. Everything good's got holes in it, and you know, don't be afraid of the holes. But I'm not in the bowling business anymore. Don't be afraid to eat with your fingers. When this quarantine is done, don't be afraid. I got the sanitizer. Don't be afraid to eat the puppy chow with your fingers, and do the things that
extra lick that makes it worthwhile with those little.
I know, but you can't do. People are afraid. my business has suffered because of the, COVID. Let's be honest, but because nobody wants to eat puppy chow with the straw, and they're not going to just dip their face in it like a dog. So
okay, I see the formula changed off. But anyways, I just want to say to you, Aunt Ro, it's been such a pleasure having you here today. And everybody, I've been Gina Casserole. This is my Aunt Ro Tini. This is the Bowling Ball Diet Podcast. Stay blessed.